And good morning, everyone. We are live once more from the banding station on Fry's Landing here at Presque Isle State Park. We are getting some of our last migrants through of the season, as well as we've been banding some local birds. But this is one of our last migrating birds here this season, and we'll have a reveal in just a moment. So the bird is currently getting weighed. The bird is in a bag that was placed in when it was removed from the net, and now it gets weighed in this little container. Our bird will be removed from the bag here. And we've got a red-eyed, we got a Blackburnian warbler. Let's see. So nice little orange face and throat right there. So the bag gets weighed by itself, and we will use that then to determine, we'll subtract that and determine the weight. Checking our fat condition on this bird.
BBW, second year female. 63.0 for the wing. 10.0 for the weight.
So we get the measurements here of this bird. This is a female Blackburnian warbler. This is a second year female, determined by her molt condition.
These birds are nicknamed the fire throat because of their orange throats. It's more prominent on a male. This is a female.
So the female's got the two big white wing bars. On the male, those wing bars run together and it's more of a patch than bars. Female and males do have the same patterns, that little triangle coming off the cheek. Both of them have that. And the female, she's just a lighter orange in the brown, and the male, he'll be a brighter orange and black. But otherwise, virtually identical on where the patterning of their color is. There you are, lady. You're beautiful.
Really, I'm gonna walk over here and show them.
Yeah. That is full grown. For pretty much all songbirds, once they've left the nest, their bodies are full grown. They usually even weigh a little more than the adults when they first leave the nest because they've been just sitting in the nest getting fed.
Not the size. Determine the age on these birds by looking at their molted feathers.
Number of feathers, is it?
Well, they molt their feathers in a certain pattern, and based on which feathers are molted and which ones are not, so then you can tell how old they are. When birds are growing, they grow a set of feathers that are really not the highest quality because they have to expend a lot of energy to get all their feathers at once to fledge and leave their nest. So we can compare the quality of a juvenile feather to an adult feather, and that's how we can determine what age they are. This is a Blackburnian.
So this right here is a beautiful adult male blackpoll warbler with his beautiful orange legs, his fancy little hat.
If I had to guess, I would say that this is a second year, yeah.
Yep, second year female.
So she has a few of her little baby
On the skinny side, we're gonna let him go.
That was that bird we were hearing the whole time on our trail. That was the blackpoll. Yep. And they can kind of redo whatever it is they need to do and carry on. So the blackpoll that we just released, that's a really long distance migrant. So they're one of the last warblers we get through here. They started off in South America, and they're going to go way into the northern forests of Canada and Alaska for breeding. And then in fall, they're going to make a reverse trip. So
these are our bands. Each band has a unique 9-digit number on them. So each bird will have its very own number. No two birds will have the same number on their band. These go on their little legs, just like a bracelet. And if we ever get a bird that already has a band on it, we'll record the data and maybe we can find out where it came from.
Okay. Oh, so it doesn't have a chip that you track the bird?
No.
So we got another bird here.
radio track hunters, but we don't.
This one's kind of a next body size up from those little warblers. Not much bigger, but a little more. So this one's not a warbler. Yep, okay, yep. Get you nice and close. So we have here a red-eyed vireo. Red-eyed vireos are one of our breeding species here in Pennsylvania, as well as many points around us. Vireos all have a kind of heavier beak than warblers. They also have this little hook on the end. They really like caterpillars. It's a long beak. So they like to grab caterpillars, and if the caterpillar's spiny, they'll take it, kind of hook that beak into it, get a good grip on it, find a branch and go wham, 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 wham until all those spines are off. And then tear it to pieces. And it's a very good protein snack. No, I mean, I assume it is because the birds really like them. And got a second one. So this is the red-eyed vireo again. When the sun catches it, yeah. Get a little close up there. So one of the things that's done, one of the things that's done is we check the feather molt on there to age them. Is he going to make a... Hi there, sir. Okay. Yeah. So you can actually see the red eye. You can see they have zero problem using that beak to make their displeasure known. They know they got a very sharp hook on there. They're, nice little predator beak, and they have no problem using that.
Juveniles have a brown eye, but it starts to look darker as the fall progresses in the winter. So by the spring, they'll have a red eye.
So the really tiny bands, each band has its own unique number on it. It's a little 9-digit number. So if we recatch them, if another banding station recatches them, somebody photographs the band, whatever, if the band is recovered in any shape or form, then we get that information back of where the bird was found, the condition it was in, that type of thing. Our coolest, most long distance one is we banded a warbler called the American Redstart. Not very big, little guys. And somebody photographed the band and got all the numbers through a set of photographs of this bird down in Brazil. Which is way further south than any Redstart has pretty much been recorded. So kind of setting a nice distance record for us. But that's probably the highlight. When we recatch birds here that we band, it helps us for like maybe a migrant that's hanging around kind of fueling up before it crosses the lake. We can see how fast they're putting weight on. Some of these birds are basically doing the equivalent of eating like a couple hundred hamburgers a day and putting on that weight. And that helps us kind of assess the quality of the habitat around here. You know, as long as our migrants that are hanging out here are gaining weight each day, that's good. That's what we want to see. If we started seeing a lot of birds that weren't gaining weight across the board, that would tell us there's a problem probably with our insect population, and we need to look at that. Also, nesting birds that breed here, like our catbird. I was talking to some people here earlier. We have a female catbird that nests here every year. She's 9 years old now. She was just recaught last week, I think. She was just recaught. So we will catch her a couple times, usually in the season and again in the fall season as well. So it gives us longevity records. That's 9 years is really good for a catbird, to be honest. So, yeah, all kinds of information we can get from just the bands in the band recovery.
What is the life of the band?
I'm sorry?
Life of the band.
The life of the band. They're what? They're aluminum.
So
So,
these birds, they'll usually last the life of the bird.
right.
But for other birds that hang out near water, especially salt water, they make different types of bands. They're like a blend, like an alloy blend, or straight up stainless steel. And that way they don't erode in the salt water.
Yeah. So like you would look for like the albatross. Those guys really last. So the oldest known albatross, Wisdom, who's like 74, 75 years old, somewhere in that range at this point. She has had her band replaced, but I think just because the first band, you know, they didn't know all of that when they first banded her, about conditions of the band. So seabirds probably are ones. Condors, I know they do get their wing tags redone over the course of their lifetime. But songbirds, unfortunately, just don't have the lifespans that they would outlast. These bands will definitely outlast them. Yeah.
Is there any protocol on which leg the band is put, right or left?
That's each station has their own way they do it. So that's one way you can tell, like if you've got a bird from another station, is if you always band on the right and you get a bird with a band on the left, that would be like okay. But there's not a set protocol. It's each station decides how they're going to do it as far as that goes. Oh, they're very light. Yeah, they weigh pretty much nothing. They don't add any weight to the bird or anything like that. So
Animals, you have the collars.
yeah, the collar ones, you don't see that used much anymore. That used to be used like with swan and goose banding. I don't know that anybody does that anymore, but you still see them out there because the animals have just, lived long enough that they're still out there with those. But yeah, I think that's just on game bird that we see that. Yeah. And then some things like our piping plovers, especially things that are usually in like the endangered range. You might also get color bands as well to help identify the individual at a distance, so you don't have to try to read those tiny numbers all the time. And there are protocols for when you've got color bands as to what colors are used when and where and stuff like that. So all of our Great Lakes piping plovers have an orange band or a leg flag on there. So everybody gets orange, and then they get a couple other, and it'll be like, it might be like black, blue, green or something like that. And that allows us from a distance to very quickly say, okay, this is that bird. We got one more bird coming in here yeah. One more bird with some activity going. So our nets we have nets all over back here. Yeah, we have nets. When we have a break here, I can show you. We have a sample net here. I can show you what they look like and how they work. So we have these nets that are stretched out on these poles, And the birds basically, whoa, boy, that one's jumping bean. So this one's getting a bigger band. So the bands all come in all different sizes. There's extremely itty bitty ones for hummingbirds, and then they go on up. There are bands that you could put on. We don't have, but you could put on to like eagle legs and things like that. So we have eagles on the park. Yes, we don't ban them. Would not. That's a whole other operation. Would not want to be dealing with that. You know what? Honestly, not as bad. Some of these songbirds are way worse. So this is a female red-winged blackbird. So these are one of our breeding birds here. Female red-winged blackbirds look a lot different from the male. She's a little brown and white stripy. She always has this little color of peach in the chin right there. Taking a look there. She's going to be feisty. Our blackbirds are feisty. We love it. No. She is all nest colored, basically. Since she's the one who's going to be on the nest the most, all completely actually, she's got to basically look like the nest so she doesn't stand out. Generally what we see with birds is whoever's taking care of the kids is usually the more cryptically colored bird. If both of them share duties, they both tend to look alike. So like our woodpeckers, blue jays, chickadees, titmice, wrens, things like that. But like cardinals, red-winged blackbirds, rose-breasted grosbeaks, where the females are mostly on the nest, the females are the nest colored. Shorebirds, most of them, the males do most of the brooding, incubation, raising the kids. And so the females tend to be the more colorful in those. Phalaropes, which are a really weird group of shorebirds, in particular being the most well known for this. The females are very brightly colored and the males are a lot duller. And the females just lay her eggs and leave them with the male and then go find another male and just do that again with several males. And then she's like, well, I'm out of here, and starts migrating back south again. Yeah. It's kind of, it really depends on your situation, the habitat, what nest failures are like. All of that comes into play as to how many partners you have, whether it's male with multiple females, females with multiple males, if they're more monogamous on there. All of that comes into play. So anyhow, just one second, I got to finish my live here. To everyone who is listening, thanks for joining us today. We are open today until 2 o'clock. Tomorrow we will be open from noon until 4. It's the last day of our banding station, spring banding station. We are doing the raffle for the Zeiss binoculars on Monday, so you can either stop by the banding station to grab raffle tickets, or you can visit our website, eriebirdobservatory.org, and enter online as well. Thanks for joining us today.